I want to support.
The Honourable Member for Baringo North, Honourable Joseph Makilap.
They are engaging. Madam Speaker, thank you for this opportunity. I rise to support this report of my committee. Madam Speaker, public debt has become a stigma for our country, which we need to be able to have controls so that we are able to finance programs of this country without struggling to pay debts. Madam Speaker, one thing that we've realized as a committee, which some members have raised, is that there are a lot of money that are pending in various international banks that has been paid as commitment fee to the tune of about 4 billion shillings for loans that we have not received or used. Madam Speaker, you are aware that the BFM Act is very clear that we borrow for development. And if you borrow for development, what is it expected? It's expected that you borrow, inject the money into the economy through some programs that in return will bring on revenue that can be used to finance the next programs. Madam Speaker, in absence of resources pumped into the economy in terms of programs like agriculture, like roads, that are meant to bring back revenue and generate revenue for the economy, Madam Speaker, we shall not be doing much for our country. So we support the implementation and the raft of the proposals that we as a committee have recommended to the National Treasury so that we have value for money. Could you imagine, Madam Speaker, a situation where a commitment fee to the tune of 4 billion, that is enough money to do a road from Parwesa to Koloa in my constituency that transfers about 3 or 4 constituencies in Kenya. And the money cannot be accessed because the loan has not come forward and no money has come to the economy. Secondly, Madam Speaker, is that borrowing expensive. Madam Speaker, at the moment, we need to control and have control of the interest rates. Because at the moment, if you are in the private sector, you borrow loan at 22%. This 22% has come as a result of government, borrowing. If the government borrows from commercial banks, Madam Speaker, what does that mean? It means the commercial banks will go and loan money to the government because they are offering good interest rates, and the implication is that the private people, the people who want to do business, it has become very difficult for Kenyans, individual Kenyans and commercial enterprises to borrow, private companies to borrow from the commercial banks. The consequence of that, Madam Speaker, is if citizens and business people are not able to borrow from our own institutions, Madam Speaker, it means you will not be able to collect enough taxes to run the economy because the loans are expensive. They are not able to make money out of it. So, Madam Speaker, the proposals that we brought forward through our chairman, Madam Speaker, is that, look, for example, Madam Speaker, if you borrow to refinance another loan, it becomes a problem. So there is need now to borrow and put programs on the money. If you borrow money today from an institution, then that particular program must be indicated by National Treasury that this money goes to this particular program so that we wait for an outcome. Madam Speaker, for us to be able to grow our economy, we need to actually reduce our appetite for huge fiscal debt. Madam Speaker, we have to live within our means as a country. For us to be able to continue with our programs of this country, we must live with it, reduce the fiscal debt, because that is the source. The source of public debt in Kenya is a result of high fiscal deficit of our budget. And if we have to reduce it, then we reduce the development programs so that we live as a country within our means. If we live within our means, we are able to grow our economy using our own resources. Madam Speaker, I support the proposals and recommendations that we've done, because that will put the country in order and will be able to have what is called a sustainable.
The Honorable Beatrice Elachi, member for Dagoretti North.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker also rise to support this